The third and final stage is down Gnarnia. I really, really like this track a lot, though the first part of it was pretty pedally and flat. It's sort of like a pedally XC part up here. There are rocks and roots. It's hard to kind of keep and get speed, at least with the lines I took and being tired from the other two stages. Pros had a fourth stage, and I figured I didn't have it in me for 4,000 feet of climbing and going down the other stage this early in the season for me. Got stuck on my first rock here for no good reason. I don't have an excuse. I was probably just tired. And this is where the fun starts to happen. You go off this little drop into kind of rock garden, rooty section, and then it gets really, really gnarly here. Got a lot of rocks.
Oh, come on.
Get caught again, have to put a foot down. Again, no good reason, just tired. Have a first roll into a rock garden, then an even nastier rock garden.
You good, dude?
Checking to make sure other people are right, and then you've got this nice big rock rollover into a little gap step down. It was definitely, that whole rock garden section is my favorite part of the whole track. From there it just gets kind of fast. It was pretty muddy. This track was pretty beat up at this point just because everyone wanted to hit it first. The way the race was run, you could hit the stages in whatever order you wanted to. So that way people weren't getting hung up at the different stages and everything like that. So a lot of people did this stage first. I ran them in order. Maybe not the best, but you know, I was looking for a finishing run and not a super fast run. This part got tricky just because it was so steep and off camber. So I had to put a foot down again. Otherwise, I'm on my bike for the rest of the run here. Pretty worn out from the other two stages at this point. My bike wasn't really set up all that well either, so I was getting some pretty crazy arm pump. Hands were hurting quite a bit. My body position started getting really poor at this point in the race, just because I started getting into bad habits of leaning back instead of trying to stay centered and pump through things, which aggravated the arm pump even more. And with it being pretty slick, I was using my brakes a lot more. So, you know, combination of being tired and it being steep, I use my brakes quite a bit more. And this is probably the muddiest part of the track, with the exception of one other part that you'll see a little bit further ahead. As you can see, it's not entirely very smooth. There's always rocks somewhere. And I really liked it because it was so raw. These trails are pretty raw and not, you know, they're not big flowy berms and fast chutes and stuff like that. You'll have fast chutes, but the trails are just pretty raw and natural, and it made them a lot of fun. I was definitely very beat at this point. I was checking to see if that guy I passed was catching up on me. He didn't. Which made me pretty happy. So I got one guy I passed.
Oh, I'm so beat.
And I didn't get past the entire time, which I was pretty happy about. I skipped the jumps just because I didn't see a whole lot of reason to do them. You know, I was more focused on trying to keep my tires on the ground so I didn't run into any issues with traction or anything like that. And since there were ride-arounds, you know, I felt that jumping didn't gain a whole lot versus just trying to plow through and try to pump the terrain to get through it faster. This is probably the muddiest part of the whole race. It was like 6 inches deep there of just water and mud, so it was pretty precarious. This part of the track's probably my least favorite, coming up in through here. There just wasn't really a whole lot going on. Is just not even that steep. It was just, I don't know, not terribly interesting.